Today I'm going to show you the exact strategy I used to generate $67,000 in one day, step by step. Hey, what is good everybody? My name is David Stone and welcome to today's video. So as you saw in my intro, I'm going to show you the exact method I used to generate $67,000 in one day. Now keep in mind, this did not just magically occur overnight. I had to put thousands down the drain and have spent a lot of money which have just gone wasted to learn how to use Facebook ads to my advantage. But with this blueprint, you'll be able to follow the exact process that I used to generate that sum. You might have seen methods which are familiar to this, but I promise you that if you watch the whole video, you'll learn something new and something unique that not a lot of mentors really talk about. Now, what you won't be seeing in this video is how I tell you to go into Facebook ads, start a purchase campaign and just let it sit there for 3 days, and that's how you do it. I'm going to show you something completely different and a new step-by-step process that you should follow. So make sure you stick around until the end and I'll make sure that you learn something really useful and new. So in today's video, I'm showing you a 4-step blueprint which you should definitely try to use, and I'll guarantee that you at least get some results and you learn something new from it. But before you get started with Facebook ads, the first step to having success with dropshipping is finding a winning product. And to find a great winning product, I recommend you using Ecom Hunt. That's what I always recommend in my videos, so definitely check that out. I'll leave a link in the description below. They feature a new product each day, and all of the products they feature are always guaranteed to at least have gotten some sales and have social proof on Facebook where another store have started selling them. They also include descriptions and stuff like that. So definitely check that out. They have a free plan available, so you can definitely sign up and try testing out some products from there. If you want more methods and information about product research, I would recommend you to watch my video on my channel where I go through a lot of different methods and how you can find new and exciting products. Now, why you need a winning product might be self-explained, but a bad product is just not magically going to become a good product which people tend to buy and impulse buy on Facebook. So if you're using a product which just isn't performing for others, it won't really perform for you if you don't go through with a huge production and make it a private label. So you would be better off using my product research video and this blueprint that I'm going to show you in this video to find your best product and set up great ads and follow this process where you can test those ads and that product, and you might even go through and have a winner, which is always great because once you have a winner, you can definitely scale that to the stars. So as I said, the number one most important thing about Facebook ads is to promote a winning product. So if every single dropshipping store that I've started, all the ones that did really badly or really mediocre was always because I had a bad product. And for every single store that have done really well and sold a ton of products, that's because I always had a great and interesting product to sell. So before you even start selling with Facebook ads and dropshipping stores, make sure your product is in high demand. And the easiest way to find a product in high demand is using Ecom Hunt. Now, a product is never really too oversaturated, so don't be scared off by that a lot of other people have access to those products. Just go there and sign up for a free account. Now, a bad product and a bad ad set is never really going to get sales. It looks scammy and it looks bad, and it's just not going to convert. Now, you might get a few lucky sales here and there, but it will never be a profitable sale that you've gotten from that ad set or that product. To put this into even more perspective, even if you have a bad product and you have great ad sets which have high level production value and you put a lot of money into it and you got unique content for that product, you will never really get great sales and you'll never be profitable with those ads or that product either, even if you have great ads. But the thing is, if you have a winning product and you have mediocre ads, you'll still get a lot of sales. The number one thing about someone buying something from the internet is the interest in that product and how well that product tends to make them impulse buy something from you. So if you have a winning product and a bad or mediocre ad set, you'll still get sales, and that's when you know you have a winning product. Once you know that you have a winning product, you can start putting money into the ad creatives and start testing out different videos and images for that product. Now, depending on what kind of product it is, you might only be able to do images or videos. But in my experience, videos always tend to perform way better than images, depending on the product, of course. But if you have a winning product and you have a great ad set, that's when you can start scaling to the stars with lookalike audiences, for example, and start moving on to different platforms such as Google ads and Snapchat ads. So if you manage to get cheap sales with your bad ad and your winning product, start investing into a professionally made ad creative, and you can also start contacting micro influencers to have them make a short video of them using their product, if it's a beauty product for example, which is an example in later on in this video, and you can have them test that video, and they don't even have to post it. You just want the footage. It won't really matter that much that you pay for the product to be shipped to them, because the value that you get from the raw footage, and which is unique to your brand only, is way more valuable than the price you paid for that product. So never be scared to invest in your ad creatives and get more ad creatives to start testing. So if I have 3 different ad creatives, I would start by posting those to my Facebook page, and then I would run pay-per engagement campaigns for those and target worldwide to see which one I'm paying the least amount for each engagement. And I will basically take that ad set and move on to my conversion optimized events, which I'll be going through in the later on in the video. Before we get on with the video, I would recommend you to comment Success Crew in the comment section below, and you have a chance to win a free consultation call with me, and we'll basically go through your store, your products, and your ads, everything that you need to know about selling, and I'll go through everything with you and get that set up. We'll also be talking a lot more about Facebook ads. I'm creating a little mini course on my YouTube channel, which is just short videos going through every process about Facebook ads. So make sure you subscribe and tick that notification bell so you know when that is out. Alright, so a little summary from this section is: find a winning product before anything else. Once that get results, start investing into a better ad creative and start supercharging your ad results. Alright, so the next step into getting sales with Facebook ads is your targeting. Now this is the second most important thing about Facebook ads after winning products. You basically need great targeting, and you need to be able to target the right audience for that product every single time, and start testing new and different aspects of an audience and your targeting. Now I know this might be self-explained, but a lot of people really don't get this part. And this is where a lot of mentors go wrong when they teach their audience on how they should be structuring their Facebook ads. A lot of people think that you should just get a random product, start optimizing for purchases, put in some general interest around that product, and they'll start magically getting sales. If you think that's how it works, I would recommend you to go into a gambling site and start testing your luck there instead, and you'll waste way less money as well. So, what is the secret sauce to having a great Facebook ad experience? Well, audience, the combination is 3 different things: a winning product, great targeting, and a great ad creative. Those 3 things are the secret to a great and delicious Facebook advertising experience. And that's really where the money strikes as well. And to achieve great targeting, we need to find that correct audience in our second step, and we mainly do that by using the narrowing tool in Facebook ads. We'll be going through all of that later on in the video, so stick around until that, but just for now, keep that in mind. So as an example, if we want to target this anti-wrinkle product, we want to do that by finding 3 different and separate interests which revolves around that product. So that would be Sephora, for example, and beauty products, and skincare / engaged shoppers, for example. So if you found the 3 different interests for this anti-wrinkle product, that would be Sephora, beauty, and skincare. Now, when using the narrowing tool, what happens is when we have the first interest, which is Sephora, and then we narrow it down with beauty, and then we narrow it down with skincare, for example, what that does is basically it will show us people who are interested in all these 3 things, and put those people into one single group, which is where our golden audience is, and which we know for sure that they are definitely interested in something like this and this product. So if you have a winning product and you have a great ad set, but you have bad targeting, you're leaving most of it up to chance, and you might not even get any sales. And that's not really how we want to run things. We want to know for sure that we're going to get sales. Alright, so jumping a little bit more further into this blueprint. So what this method basically is 5x3 plus pay-per engagement method. So what I do is I run 5 ad sets for 3 days, and then I go for engagement on the best performing ads. Now you can definitely go for less than 5 depending on your budget, but no less than 3 really, because we want to test a lot of different interests. And if we're going to test one separately, one each time, you won't really know what is performing well and what isn't. And for the budget on each ad set, I would recommend you to go from $5 to $20. It can be anything in between there. Just make sure it's either 5, 10, 15 or 20, because Facebook likes that a lot more. As for locations when targeting on your ad sets, I would recommend you either the Big 5, which is the United States, the United Kingdom, New Zealand, Australia, and Canada, which are the Big 5. And you can also go for Big Five and Europe as well, because those are the countries which basically have a tendency to buy a lot. Now, if you target worldwide, you won't really be getting those results from the Asian countries, for example. All right, so with that out of the way, now here is where the really interesting part is. If you haven't really paid attention, pay attention now. So for the conversion event, where you basically optimize for either purchase, view content, initiate checkout, which is the conversion event Facebook is going to optimize your ad set for. Now, if you don't have any data and you just started out with your dropshipping store, you installed your pixel, it's completely fresh, and that Facebook pixel circle is showing you a bright red, then I definitely recommend you to start going with view content. So for Facebook to highly optimize your Facebook ad, they need 50 conversions from that specific conversion event. Now, you're not really going to get 50 purchases with a $5 budget daily on an interest ad. So it would be a lot better for you to optimize for view content. First of all, because that's where you have the most data from yourself, and which is the easiest data to collect as well from your ad sets. So you'll basically be receiving 50 view contents relatively quickly within 1 or 2 days. And by then, Facebook can then hyper optimize for view content on your ad set really quickly for the third day, where you'll basically be seeing if your ad set is performing well or not. So here's a rule of thumb which I basically like to use. Not a lot of people like to give you the exact numbers, but I'm going to give you a relative appreciation of where you can expect to find yourself. So if you have no data at all, I would recommend you to go for view content optimization on all of your ad sets until you hit 300 view contents. And that's a good number because Facebook can then take that data from your previous audience and use that for your later ad sets. Once you have 300 plus view contents, I recommend you to go for add to cart. And once you have 100 to a 200 plus add to carts, I recommend you to step over to initiate checkout. Now keep in mind that if you have a really well performing ad set from any of the previous conversion events, do not remove those, just duplicate that ad and optimize for the new conversion event. Never remove the ad which is performing well, because that would throw Facebook off and you'll basically be losing that audience, which is really great optimized for you. All right, so once you have 100 to a 200 plus add cards, I recommend you moving on to initiate checkout. And once you have a 50 to a 100 plus initiate checkouts, you can then move on to purchase ad. All right, so moving on with our example, here is a quick little board which you can take a look at on how I would set up my ad sets and how I would narrow down my interests and how I would check basically if what interest is best. So what is important when you're testing your ad set is that you only test one variable each time. So I would test one interest narrowed down by two really general interests. So for the two general interests, I would go for our anti-wrinkle product. That would be cosmetics and beauty, for example. This is just an example. You can basically use skincare as well, skincare and beauty, for example. But for this example, I've used cosmetics and beauty. For these broad interests, we'll be testing out 5 separate interests, which are brands or either some huge influencer within your market for a sport, for example. So you would go for Sephora, Ulta, MAC, Body Shop, and L'Oreal. Those are 5 really big brands for beauty products. So followed by that, I would narrow down by cosmetics and beauty. In our example here, we are testing for 18 to 65 plus. We don't change anything else, and since it's an anti-wrinkle product, our best bet is that the women is going to use that. So in our example here, we basically tested out Sephora, which yielded us no sales. The same happened with Ulta and MAC and Body Shop, but on our 5th ad set, we got a sale or a lot of sales from L'Oreal. Now, then we know for sure that L'Oreal is our winning audience, and we can start testing different variations on that audience. That is where you want to move on to split testing. And here's basically, so we want to break down that further, and I'll show you all later on in my video on how we can break down an ad. So once we break down our ad, we clearly saw that the age 35 to 54 was the best performing age for our L'Oreal interest targeting. And that's what got us the most sales for at the lowest price. So then we duplicate our ad set for L'Oreal, and we put in that we only want to target 35 to 54. And then we start getting sales for the cheapest amount possible and way more ads, because Facebook will only be targeting your budget for that specific age where we got the most sales. Now the same happened for the age 54 to 65 plus. So we start duplicating that as well and input that age in that as well. So we can start testing those two and see what does the best there. So for the rest of the ad set which didn't work, I would recommend you just kill those off and start testing new interests. Now, because we killed off the 4 different interests which didn't really work out and give us any sales, we started testing new interests, because that's what you want to do. You want to test each 3 days. You want to test new interests and test your different ad creatives. And in this example, we basically saw that one of these new interests started yielding us sales, and then we can use the exact same process, break it down and start testing the ages and the genders and platforms and stuff like that. And this is where we come to the last step in our blueprint, and that is split testing the breakdown. So once you have found your winning ad or your winning product or ad set, basically, and you started testing and you got a sales with one of those ads, I would recommend you start breaking it down, start testing different platforms separately. So for example, you might want to test Instagram and Facebook. Now, what I always like to preach in my videos is that you should definitely create 2 ad sets for each platform, or just never use a link in your ad set, because a link on an Instagram ad looks really shit because it's not clickable, it takes up space, and it clutters your ad caption. So for what you can break down and test is Instagram versus Facebook. Then you can test the device, which is mobile and desktop. So as you saw in examples before, is that I always test the ages, so 18 to 65, and always test the gender as well. One more important part, which is the ad creative. Always test your ad creative. Now, videos tend to perform a lot better than images, but that really depends on your product. So if you have a great product which is great for images, you know, test images and test different colors on that image. Now, split testing ad creatives is something that we'll be going through in the future, so stay posted for that. But for now, let's jump into the ads manager, and I'll show you how to narrow down, how to break down, and basically how to set up your ad creative really quickly. So once in the ads manager, what you want to do is click create ad, and you want to go to the conversion event, which is basically what our campaign will be optimized for, which is conversions. But for now, set up that ad creative or that campaign. And so as I said, so if you have this bright red little pixel circle, you know, you start out with view content. That's just how it goes, because you have no data on that. So set up that view content ad first of all, so you can get a lot more data on that, and then move on. If you missed that part in the video, I recommend you scroll back and check it out again. For your targeting, I told you to use the big 5. So this is basically where you would enter that. Make sure that you tick everyone who live in this location, so you don't really get tourists or people who are just visiting their families from another country. Now, depending on the common sense of your product, for my product, you know, I would target for women, and since people on 18 don't really get wrinkles, I would go for at least 25 plus. Now, since you want to test that out first, you know, always go for 18 and test that out first of all. Now, for the detailed targeting, this is where it gets interesting. So as I said in the video, I was going for L'Oreal as our first interest, which has an 83 million audience size. But what we want to do as well is narrow that down by, so I went for beauty, and we want to narrow that even further for our third and final narrowing, which would be for skincare. And always make sure that you untick expand interest when it may improve performance at a lower cost per result. It's basically just Facebook saying, hey, you want to pay for a lot of shit traffic? That's what you use that for. So never use it. Now, for your placements, make sure that you are always testing feeds and Instagram feeds. Now, if you're going to target both of these feeds at the same time, never use a link in your ad creative. Never. Because it looks like shit on Instagram, and it looks really bad in general, and it clutters your ad set and makes the overall quality really badly. And if you're thinking from a brand's perspective, they would really never include their link in the ad set, so stop doing that. It's old. If you're going to use a link in your post for the Facebook ad, then you want to untick Instagram and create another ad set with the exact same details for Instagram only. So if your budget is low and you're planning on using for both of these, where it was 10, I would recommend you to instead go for 5 on each of these, so you can test both platforms. Now, Facebook have introduced a cost controls, which is optional. We'll be going through that more detailed in later videos, but for now you can leave that alone, since you don't really want to have a cost cap, bid cap, or a target cost. So for your daily product, you know, $5 to $20, and set your ad set to run continuously starting today, because you want to make sure that Facebook sees that you want to spend money on their platform. Now for the breakdown tool, this is basically where you find your breakdown tool in this top right corner, and you want to go to by delivery, and here you find age and gender together. And once you click that, you can basically just go for cost per result and filter every result that you've gotten, and you can basically see what age and what gender it was that gave you that result and what price you got it. So make sure you use that, it's very useful. We'll be going through more of that in the future though, so keep posted. Alright everyone, this is basically that for this video. I know I've been really inactive. I've had a lot of personal stuff happen to me these couple of weeks. With New Year's and Christmas, it's been very stressful. I have a lot of business on the side as well, so I've been really busy and I'm really sorry. I will be putting a lot more focus onto my YouTube channel because, hey, you're awesome, and I love doing YouTube as well because it's just really fun. But as I said in the beginning of the video, make sure that you comment the success crew or just anything really. Just put a suggestion for the next video on what you want to see and what you thought was good in this video, and I'll bring you into the draft as well. And for the winner of the last video, you can see on the screen right now, Georgiev, I don't really know if I'm pronouncing that right or at all, but hey, DM me on @ecomjedi on Instagram, and I'll make sure to we'll get this called through, and I'll be showing you everything that you need to know to get started. All right, so that's basically it for this video. Thank you a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.